Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Mystic's Table. Today we will be playing session 12 of my Ironsworn campaign. So let's go ahead and get into that recap. So we left off, Albrun has arrived to the entrance of this cavern that is within this delve site. We located our objective successfully. We got a strong hit on that, so just keep in mind we have a +1 on whatever next move that we make. We noticed that when we were coming into the archway that there were like very powerful, like very potent warding runes on the archway. And again, Albrun is not well versed in runology. Again, he's never received any type of formal training or anything, but just by being of Scold blood, he could feel the impact that those runes were having. It's very powerful, right? And we looked into this cavern and we saw this foul, vile creature in the middle of it, a bone horde. I promised y'all that I would share some details for this session, so I will go ahead and do that. Bone horde is classified as an extreme foe, so that's the second most powerful rank an enemy can have in this game. So it's I think it does 4 harm per hit. We are at 2 health, so we don't want to get hit by that thing. It'll one-shot us. And I believe if we were to strike it with a formidable weapon, it does, I think, 2 ticks per progress, so that's half a box. So we really don't want to get in a fight with that thing. And Cadigan is also within this cavern. His back is turned. He's doing some sort of invocation, incantation. Who knows? Since we did get a strong hit on that locate our objective, the situation favors us, and I think to reflect that, Cadigan has his back turned to the entrance of this cavern, as does the Bone Horde. So we are kind of here, and they haven't noticed us yet. Okay. What else? I think that's about it. So we left off with Albrun has to figure out how to proceed in this situation. And before I get into it, I just want to take a quick amount of time to share that I discovered a new supplement called Iron Crunch. It makes the game very, very crunchy. If you have any experience with other tabletops, you know that some tabletops are very crunchy, whereas like you track your gear, you track how much weight you can carry, you track how many tiles you can move per move, that kind of thing. We aren't switching over to Iron Crunch in the middle of the campaign. That I feel like that'd be a huge switch. I took a look at it. It kind of like it's definitely still Ironsworn, but it changes a lot. Like it changes the challenge die got changed. The action die got changed, so it changes a little too much for me to consider switching, and I don't think I want to switch anyways, but I saw 2 systems in there that I want to borrow for this campaign, and I think it would be really awesome. So the 2 systems I saw were a demeanor system for your character and a motivation system, and so both of these systems are basically designed to reward roleplay on a meta level, I suppose. And I feel like as I've been playing Albrun, there's been times where I didn't feel so connected to his motivations and stuff, and I was very much metagaming. Like I was making decisions that I would make as a player to kind of get the best outcome, I guess. Like even in this delve site that we just completed, there was times, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, there was times where I was rolling plus shadow with Delve the Depths just because I know that it's the safest option. There's times where I justified it, but there's other times where it's like, So anyways, the demeanor system, it gives you a list of basically personality traits. You choose one for your character and you get rewarded whenever you role play with that specific personality. It gives you a mechanical benefit. So for Albrun, I chose the demeanor opportunistic. And I'll go ahead and read the description. It says, you are quick to adapt your actions based on what is expedient or effective, regardless of ethical principles. And I feel like that fits Albrun very much. He's not one to be super sentimental. He's one to cut corners if it's the best thing to do. And I mean, he'll do what he needs to do to get what needs to be done. So I felt like opportunistic really fits. And so with the demeanor system, each personality trait, each demeanor that you can pick has a virtue, a vice, or a buy-off. Okay, and so what a virtue does is whenever you're role playing in line with the demeanor you chose, you add +1 to whatever role you're about to make. So the virtue for opportunistic is you utilize an ethically questionable approach to obtain a benefit or resolve a situation. So whenever we're doing something questionable or even downright unethical, in order to better ourselves, better our situation, whatever, do what it is that we want or need to do, we can add +1 to that role. Okay, that's the virtue. The vice is a vice is something where you're role playing in line with that personality, that demeanor that you chose, and it gets you into trouble. So it puts you at a narrative disadvantage, but you get a mechanical benefit for sticking to your guns, if that makes sense. So you get rewarded for staying in character even when it's not advantageous. So the vice for opportunistic is you get when you get into trouble for your unethical approach to a situation. So let's say we take an unethical approach to something and it doesn't pan out. The mechanical benefit we can take is we take up to our momentum maximum. So right now we don't have any debilities or anything, so our momentum maximum is +2. So if we ever get in trouble for doing something unethical that we chose to do, we can take +2 momentum. So it's just a way to reward yourself for staying in character even when you're getting in trouble for the personality you chose. Okay, and then there's a buy-off. So what I really love about this system that Iron Crunch made with the demeanor and motivation system, both of them have this buy-off option, and basically it implements a way mechanically for your character to have a character arc, for them to grow, for them to change. Okay, so what a buy-off is, whenever you do something contradictory by choice to your demeanor, you basically discard the demeanor that you currently have and you pick a new one that better lines up with who your character now is, if that makes sense. So the buy-off, when that happens, you take +5 momentum. So the buy-off for opportunistic is when you willingly refrain from taking the most expedient or effective course of action because it is unethical. So that's basically a character growth moment. Whenever you feel like your character has grown past that opportunistic nature, you do the buy-off and you switch it to a different demeanor that better reflects who your character is now. So I love that. I can't wait to implement it. Okay, and then for the motivation system, it's very similar to demeanor. So there was a list of motivations that kind of drive your character. So, I mean, in base Ironsworn, you have your background vow that kind of drives your character forward. But this motivation system, it's a way of taking that, I guess, into a slightly different system and rewards you mechanically for, like, sticking to that roleplay motivation, I suppose. And these motivations can change just like demeanors. And your background vow doesn't really change, so I guess that's kind of the difference. So for the motivation we chose for Albrun, it's called Discover the Forgotten. I feel like it lines up very much with our background vow that is discover the nature of the iron pillars and the cataclysm. I think those two things line up pretty well. The description is you thrive to discover forgotten lore and uncovering secrets. Okay, and so the way the motivation system works is that there's 3 layers. Each subsequent layer gives you a better mechanical benefit should you role play within that layer, if that makes sense. And then there's a buy-off. So layer 1, if you do layer 1, you get +1 momentum. And for Discover the Forgotten, layer 1 is when you show what needs to be done to discover an important new fact, a lost piece of information, or item. So whenever I guess we're making plans or we're saying like, we need to do this or we need to eliminate this person or we need to, whatever, in order to get more information on the Iron Pillars, for example, we can take +1 momentum. Layer 2 is +2 momentum, and it's when you discover an important new fact, lost piece of information, or item. So that's when we actually make the discovery, we get the information, we get the artifact, we get the item, whatever. We get +2 momentum. Okay, and layer 3, +3 momentum, when you put yourself at risk or sacrifice something important for discovering an important new fact, lost piece of information, or item. So that's obviously the most extreme layer. If Albrun puts himself in danger or he sacrifices something important to him in order to get information, artifact, whatever, we take +3 momentum. Okay, and then the buy off, just like demeanor, is +5 momentum. So for this one, it's when you willingly pass up an opportunity to learn something important or get a forgotten item. So same thing with the demeanor system. For motivation, once you contradict your motivation, you can take the buy off and switch your character's motivation into something that now fits the person that they are and what their new motives are. So I love that system. I think it's very easy to just transfer it straight from Iron Crunch over to the base game. So I'm going to do it. Hopefully, I think it will facilitate a better roleplay experience. Okay, so now that that's out the way, let's go ahead and hop into session 12. So Albrun is here in the mouth of this cavern. Cadigan's back is turned away from him. That disgusting bone horde, centipede, spider, huge thing. I would say it's about like 30 to 50 feet. Again, multiple necks and skulls. Horrid. Is in the middle of the cavern, listening to Cadigan, I guess. It's rattling and, its teeth are like, ooh, terrible. And so I think Albrun, he's taking some time to think, right? What do we do next? We made it here. The elves sent us here. Let's remind ourselves of the vow that we are actively working on. Right now, the vow that is deal with the elves that threaten Matic, okay? So, and I just want to point out that I worded that vow the way I did because I wanted to make it clear, just because we're doing what the elves kind of pushed us into doing doesn't necessarily mean our allegiance is to the elves, okay? Keep that in mind. Our allegiance right now is to Matic. We want to fix whatever's going on with these elves so that they can leave Matic alone and we can get what we came for here in the Deep Wilds. So that's just something to keep in mind. So I think what's going through Albrun's head right now is he wants to separate Cadigan from this bone horde. This thing is huge. It looks very dangerous. I think Albrun can even sense the foul, dark magic that is reanimating all those dried bones. He's thinking back to that body pit that he had come across earlier with all the missing bones and missing appendages and stuff. And I think he can kind of grasp the magnitude of this horror and the just destruction that it could cause. Okay, and I think what Albrun's going to do is he's going to recall coming in, just a few minutes ago, he's going to recall sensing and feeling the power of those warding runes that were on the archway. And remember what we said last session when we came into this cavern. It's like there's a rune carved into every surface of rock in this chamber. It's just everything's covered in runes, but particularly the runes by the archway were definitely warding runes. Okay, and I think what's going through Albrun's head, the best way to separate this bone horde from Cadigan, or at least perhaps cause a distraction of some sort, just get them separate. Because I guess I want to explain our motivation right now. We want to talk to Cadigan, okay? I want to specify that Albrun is not an assassin. Sure, the elves sent him in here, and it was kind of left unsaid, but I think the elves were expecting Albrun to try to kill Cadigan. They never explicitly told Albrun that, like, hey, you need to kill Cadigan, but they sent him in there. They sent him in there with a dagger. He's the only one that can go in there. They said, fix the problem. And I think what was left unsaid is like, you need to kill Cadigan. So that's what the elves want. But I think Albrun right now wants to talk to Cadigan. And remember, we have that urn, that clay urn. It's about the size of our hand with a rune on it. And based off of Lady Anula's divinations and the magic that we felt from it, and the fact that it was being guarded by those two Varu, we've kind of assumed, right? The dice could say otherwise, I don't know, but we assumed that that is the artifact that Lady Anula claims Cadigan has bound himself to extend his life. Because again, Cadigan is about, 2 centuries old? He's been down here for centuries. Yeah, so we have that urn, and Albrun's motivation is he wants to talk to Cadigan. He wants to try to get more information and perhaps come to a solution that could work for him, for everyone, who knows. Because again, like I said, he's not an assassin, and I don't even think Albrun has even entertained the thought of trying to somehow sneak up on Cadigan and like knife him in the back, or somehow get a bow and arrow and try to shoot him. Like, Albrun has never even fired a bow, I don't think, in his entire life. And he does have a good shadow score, but that shadow score is not for his sneaking abilities, it's for his trickery. So I think Albrun's best bet, because he can't turn around, he can't. The elves, I think if Albrun understands that if he were to return back to the surface, the elves are waiting for him outside, I'm sure of it. If he's to return to the surface and Cadigan is not dealt with, and the corruption that is spreading, because remember, it was spreading outside of this cavern, and that's why Thalor decided to go kidnap Matic, is because they needed to stop this corruption from spreading in the deep wilds. So I don't even think we could even lie, go back out there and say that we killed Cadigan, because the corruption will keep spreading, and they're going to go bother Matic again if we don't solve this problem, okay? So we can't turn around. And so Albrun's motivations, I believe, are to talk to Cadigan and see if something can be worked out, okay? And Albrun is not of the nature to just walk into this chamber and announce himself, especially with that bone horde between him and Cadigan. Because really what keeps that thing from just, swiping at Albrun across the face and just taking his head off, I don't know. So Albrun is not interested in revealing himself straight up, okay? So he wants to separate these two. And so, like I said, I think Albrun's going to put 2 and 2 together, and he's going to actually back up a little bit away from the entrance of this cavern, and he's going to go back to this archway that we saw by the natural bridge that was over that waterway, and we're going to inspect these runes, okay? And I think what that means is I think we might try to gather some information, perhaps. I think that's what we're going to do, and then we're just going to let the oracle tables kind of guide us from there. I think that's what we're going to do. So we are now by this archway with these very powerful warding runes. I would say they're glowing, that purplish glow, that dark purple glow that we've seen before. So let's gather some information. This is going to be plus wits, and we're going to add that +1 that we got from the strong hit on reach your objective. So this is going to be a +3 roll for gather information. Okay, that's a 4 on the action die, +3 is a 7, versus a 3 and a 6 strong hit. So on a strong hit, you discover something helpful and specific. And you know what? I forgot to utilize our sighted asset. Not that we needed it. We got the strong hit anyways. And our momentum is already at max, so we don't get the momentum from that either. Whatever. Anyways, on a strong hit, you discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn, ask the oracle if unsure, and take +2 momentum. So we're already at 10 momentum. So we discover something helpful and specific with these runes. And I think what is very helpful for us is some way to disrupt these rooms, possibly destroy them. Okay, the path we must follow or action we must take is made clear. So I think what Albrun is doing right now, I think he's kind of even like touching the stone that the runes are on, and he's using his sight, so his silver eyes are slightly glowing as he's examining these runes. Okay, and I think I want to roll on perhaps action and theme. I think I want to roll on action and theme and just kind of see what the oracle is going to point us towards before we make a decision ourselves. Okay, so for action, we got 17. That is assault. Okay, assault. 36. For theme, 36 is world. Assault world. Okay, so I think Albrun, so he examines these runes. Like we've already established, Albrun doesn't have any like academic knowledge on runes, so he doesn't. It's not like he can like read the language that this is in or anything like that. But I think that while he's examining these runes and he's feeling the stone and he's looking at it, he's piercing the veil. I think he actually kind of, now that he's here, he recognizes kind of the energy signature that these runes are giving off, and he kind of likens it to I feel like maybe to that force wave that happened way back when, with that iron pillar that was outside of what was it called? Rockhaven. It's been a while. What was that settlement called? What was that settlement? Oh, Grimbrook. Yeah, Grimbrook. Yes, Grimbrook. Okay. He likens the force wave, or sorry, the energy signature of these wards to the force wave. Ooh, okay, that's interesting. And he recalls that the reason why Anula was able to finally, after all these years, like her family, her lineage of elven ancestors have stayed in Feith lore, constantly watching this cavern and not being able to divine anything because of the wards that Cadigan had put up there. They couldn't look in by any magical means. And the only reason why she was finally able to do it was because of that force wave that happened over in the Havens. That force wave traveled far enough, and it just kind of disrupted a lot of magical energy in the area, and so that's what allowed her to look through Cadigan's wards and get some more information and jump-started this whole thing, right? And I think Albrun is going to recall that. So he's sensing this energy that he actually recognizes. Because remember, when that force wave went off, we were right there at the pillar, and we literally warded ourselves from being like freaking like disintegrated, right? So we are very familiar with what that energy feels like, and we recognize that these warding runes are pretty similar. Okay, and so that was a strong hit on gather information. You discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is made clear. So I think what that means is Albrun looks at Albrun. Okay, so Albrun looks at these runes a little bit closely, and you know what? Why are these runes different from the other ones? Why are these runes so powerful? And I think Albrun examines the stone that these runes are carved in a little bit closer, and he kind of wipes off some of the dust and stuff, and like as he's examining it, he realizes that this isn't like this rock that the runes are carved into. It's not like the cavern walls, like all the other like surfaces in the area are just carved into the cavern walls. He realizes that these runes are actually on plates, on stone like plate tablets, and I think he actually realizes it's not stone. It seems to be the same material that the iron pillars are made out of. So it's like this black, cold to the touch, hard stone. Um, and that's why he's recognizing that energy. So these warding runes that are carved here and have been placed over this archway, it was very deliberate. And I guess the warding properties when you're using whatever stone that these iron pillars are made out of is perhaps amplified. Okay, and our path is made clear. So I think our path is made clear. I think what this means is these stone tablets, maybe we can't destroy them because remember, those iron pillars are indestructible, but we can remove the stone tablets. They were placed here, which means they can be taken off. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, I think this is actually an excellent time to possibly roll a move that we never rolled before, and I think that is the check your gear move from Delve. So when you check to see if you have a specific helpful item and you have at least +1 supply, roll plus supply. So I think what we're checking here is we're going to see if we have anything in our pack or anything on us right now that could possibly assist us in removing. Well, you know what? Before we do that, why don't we try to just pry it off with our hands real quick? Why don't we try that? And if it doesn't work, then perhaps that means we need tools. So before we jump to that conclusion, I want to roll Secure an Advantage plus Iron, because this is going to be aggressive action, strength, whatever. We are just trying to pry off these stone tablets off of the archway. Okay, so this is Secure an Advantage plus Iron. We have +1 Iron, so I don't know how well it will go. Okay, but let's go ahead and do that. Secure an Advantage plus Iron. Okay, 6 on the action die, +1 is 7, versus, a 7 and a 10. Oh, that's a miss. Okay, on a miss, you fail or your assumptions betray you. Pay the price. Okay, so obviously we fail at the action. We aren't able to even make these things budge. It's like they're like super glued onto the wall. It's like we can't even find like a crevice or nook or cranny or anything to like get leverage off of. As for pay the price, I don't think I want to roll. Well, you know what? Yeah, let's roll on the table. Let's roll on the pay the price table. Yeah, let's go ahead and roll on pay the price table and see what happens before we proceed. Okay, so pay the price. 64. Ooh, it is harmful. Oh, okay, that was surprising. So I think actually, so as Albrun is like trying to pry off these black stone tablets off the archway, as he pulls, a jolt of just very chaotic energy just goes through him, and he immediately like falls back, and I think he's actually kind of recalling how harmful. You remember when we leveraged our invoke asset by that the Iron Pillar by Grimbrook, and it was such a harrowing experience because of the energy that was in those Iron Pillars. Like the magic around the Iron Pillar is just not great. The essence was terrible, and I think we get that exact same feeling. So to me, that sounds like endure stress. We're gonna knock off 1 spirit, so we're down to +1 spirit. And we will go ahead and roll endure stress and see if we possibly are able to bounce back from this. Okay. So let's see. Endure stress. Okay, so roll spirit or heart, whichever is higher. Right now our heart is higher at +2. So let's go ahead and roll +2. Okay, that's a 4 on the action die, +2, 6 versus a 5 and a 7. Weak hit. On a weak hit, you press on. Okay, so we collect ourselves. Albrun collects himself, and he stands back up. He's reeling a little bit, but he's good. He knows, don't do that again. Okay, So I think now is a good opportunity for us to roll check our gear. Do we have any type of tool or anything in our pack or on us maybe that can help us get some leverage on um, prying off these runes? Because honestly, maybe if we can just pry one rune off, that's enough to make something happen. Okay, so check your gear. When you check to see if you have a specific helpful item and you have at least +1 supply, we're at +3. Roll plus supply. Okay, so we're gonna roll +3 and see what happens. Ooh, okay, first time. Okay, that's a 3 on the action die, +3 is a 6, versus a 1 and an 8, so that's a weak hit. On a weak hit, you have it, but your resources are diminished. Take +1 momentum and suffer -1 supply. Okay, so we're already at max momentum, so we're not gonna take that 1 momentum. We are gonna have to subtract that supply down to +2. Okay, and I imagine that whatever it is that we have, what is it that we have? I wish there was like an oracle that we could roll on, because I can't imagine what would Albrun have in his pack that is helpful in removing this these stone pillars. Perhaps. What about his elvish dagger? No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Never mind. Is there an oracle? Is there a good oracle that we can roll on? Like an item oracle or something? I don't think there is. No, give me a second. I'm going to check the Delve book. Okay, I checked the Delve book. There is no oracle table on there for like items or gear or anything. I just, I think we're gonna have to use the dagger. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. I think we're gonna use the dagger, and I think perhaps, I really don't want to use the dagger because we rolled a weak hit and we subtract 1 supply. And so what I was thinking was to reflect that whatever it is we use is probably going to break or something to reflect that -1 supply. And I really don't want to use the dagger. You know what? Maybe... No, I think that's the only thing we have that could possibly... was thin enough to get back there. So, okay. So what we're going to do is... Well, you know what? Yeah. Dang it, guys. Oh, that sucks. That sucks so bad. Okay, whatever. It's fine. Okay, we're going to get the elvish dagger that they gave us. Remember, it was made out... It had like this wooden handle in it. The blade itself looks like it's some sort of wood, but it's very clearly a strong blade. However these elves make their weapons is they... Who knows... Some sort of enchanted tree, I don't know, but it's a strong blade, even though it looks like it's made out of wood. And so I think Albrun, he knows, okay, we don't want to directly touch these tablets, after that, what we just felt. And so Albrun is going to take his dagger that the elves gave him, and he's going to kind of jam it into behind one of the panels, these stone tablets, and he's going to kind of just really, just try to pry. And I think after some time, and yeah, I don't think I'm going to roll again on this because we checked our gear. We got a hit. Specifically, it says you have a specific helpful item. So I don't think we need to roll secure advantage again because this item is supposed to be helpful. So I don't, you know what I mean? I don't see the reason why we need to risk another miss. We are able to actually get one of these tablets off. It falls, and we catch it before it, clatters on the cavern floor. And I think this tablet, it's probably maybe yay big, and we're going to quickly put this in our pack, because again, it's made out of this really rare material from the iron pillar, presumably, that's indestructible, so I imagine we might as well save it. That sounds like an item of value, and so I'm actually going to go ahead and write that down and make a note that we now have some iron We have some stone tablet made out of the same material the iron pillars are made out of, and it has a warding rune on it. I think that could probably come in handy later. So let me go ahead and make a mark for that. Okay, so I went ahead and made a note of that. Here's like my little journal. I just want to show you guys like the warding rune that's right there. I went ahead and like looked up just a random design. So I think that that is an artifact that, who knows, could come in handy in the future. It seems to me like it has warding properties specifically against horrors, because it is the thing that's keeping this bone horde out. Okay, so now we need to figure out what happens next. So we were able to remove this stone tablet off the archway, and I think I want to say almost immediately the bone horde is the one that senses something has changed, because remember those warding runes were specifically made to keep the bone horde inside this cavern. So I think if anyone's going to notice first, it's the bone horde. So this makes me think that perhaps we need to face danger plus shadow. Perhaps we need to try to sneak off and not be detected, because I think this bone horde is immediately going to kind of like turn around and try to see what's happening, and it may try to stick one of its heads out. I don't know. And we'll see how Cadigan reacts. I wanted to mention I did roll a personality trait for Cadigan. It's vengeful. Just I wanted to inform you guys of that, and I think I also want to inform you the character goal that I rolled for him. I forgot to mention it, but his goal is to gain enough power to break out of this cavern, and he wants to basically obliterate the elves that have kept him trapped here and generations ago tortured him. Okay, I just want to share that. Okay, so anyways, yeah, so this sounds like a face danger plus shadow to me. And I don't think we can leverage our trickster asset here. Nope. We are not lying, bluffing, stealing, or cheating. Nope. Okay, so this is just plus shadow. So that's plus 3. Face danger, plus 3. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's a 4 on the action die, plus 3 is a 7. Versus, a 9 and, a 3. Okay, weak hit. On a weak hit, you succeed, but face a troublesome cost. You are delayed, lose advantage, or face a new danger. You're tired or hurt. You are dispirited or afraid. You sacrifice resources. Okay, I think I know exactly what happens. So, as soon as Albrun pries off that stone tablet and he gets it before it clatters, immediately that rattling and clicking from the bone horde that's inside the cavern, it speeds up and it gets louder, and it's like all of those disgusting like vertebrae, like spines, like I want to almost say like the different, it's kind of like that the bone horde kind of at this point looks like a hydra mixed with a spider thing. So it has like multiple necks, like multiple like stegosaurus, like giraffe necks or whatever, I guess, with skulls on the top, and I think all of those skulls kind of like snake around and look back at the entrance, and Albrun immediately just gets out of the way of the archway and like kind of hides behind there, and I think the bone horde starts making its way over there. Okay, and Cadigan is like Cadigan, whatever, he stops whatever invocation thing he was doing, and he quickly turns around. He's like, what's going on? And Cadigan is a very powerful mystic, and actually I wanted to share with you guys, this might be a little bit of metagaming, but I wanted to share with you, he's not exactly a mystic. So in the delve supplement, there's this new Ironlander foe called a husk, and basically it's a mystic that has gone too far into like corruptive magic, and like it's changed them and stuff. They have like black pits for eyes and withered, decayed flesh, claws for nails that we described last session. That's what Cadigan is. So I just wanted to connect the 2 and 2 for you guys. So he's a husk. But anyways, he's a very powerful, or used to be a very powerful mystic, now a husk. So I think he actually senses the disturbance of his warding, and so he's like, oh, explicitive. So I think Cadigan is actually on his way over here to come investigate as well. Um, what was that? You secure an event or no face danger, weak hit, and I think the choose one, the troublesome cost is we are delayed to lose advantage or face a new danger -1 momentum. So we're gonna go ahead and go down to 9 momentum, and um, I think the best thing here is I'm kind of debating between lose advantage or face new danger. We already basically lost the advantage. Our advantage was that the Bone Horde and Cadigan were distracted and turned around. Now they're not. They're actually heading towards us here at the mouth of the cave. And I also am like teetering between face and new danger. I don't think I want to do both though. Our tracks are not really looking too good. So I think I want to choose one. I think I'm going to choose lose advantage. Well, they haven't discovered us yet. Oh. Oh, guys, I don't know. I'm having trouble thinking. Okay, you know what? Why don't we ask the Oracle? Let's just ask the Oracle. Okay, let's let the Oracle decide. So, I say. Okay, I know what it is. I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna ask the Oracle, and we have two options. One, we end up getting discovered because of this. So we end up being found, we lose the element of surprise. The other option is we get to keep the element of surprise and we somehow avoid detection. So for the odds, I think it is likely, unfortunately, I think it is likely that we lose the element of surprise here. We disrupted the magic, so Cadigan, I think he's smart enough to know that the rune didn't just like fall off the archway. Something probably removed it, and he's going to come investigate himself, right? And the Bone Horde is there as well, and not to mention, I have a feeling that those two undead Varu that we had been avoiding, might be showing up. They might. I don't know. We'll see. So I think with all of those pieces into consideration, it is likely that we have now lost the element of surprise, that we didn't think this through enough. Okay, so that means if we roll a 26 or greater, we have been discovered. If we roll 0 through 25, we somehow are able to stay hidden. Okay, let's see what happens. 27? What? Are you serious? 26 or greater. No, that's crazy. Okay, 27. Okay. Wow. Okay, whatever. Okay, that's crazy. Dang. Okay, so Albrun tries to look for a crevice, try to hide. And I think unfortunately, those two undead Varu that we had tried to throw off our scent, actually come out of these twisting passageways right across the natural bridge with the waterway, and they see us. And again, these things are they're undead, their eyes are dead, their facial expressions are dead, but they see us, and I think they immediately kind of get on all fours and start bounding towards us. And we can't go back that way. Cadigan and the Bone Horde, we can hear the clicking of the Bone Horde and just the trembling of this huge thing with all of its skeletal legs coming over here. We can also hear Cadigan speaking incoherently, what's going on, that kind of thing. And so we can't go into the cavern. So in terms of escape, I guess we could try jumping into the waterway and see if we survive that. But honestly, I don't even think I want to do that with our health track being at +2. So I think what we want to do here, and I think we have a little bit of narrative advantage because we know what these Varu are after, right? I think we are going to quickly, very quickly, get our pack, swing it over our shoulder, open it, and get that urn. The urn with the rune on it that we had gotten earlier. And we are actually going to hold it out in front of us. And I think the Varu are going to just like screech to a halt because I think they were about to like lunge at us, like we were about to enter the fray or something here. But I imagine that their command from Cadigan is to guard and protect that urn. They don't want to destroy it. And so I think that stops them in their tracks. But that's not enough to get us out of trouble. I think. Ooh, ooh, that's so creepy. The image that just came into my head. Ooh, that's so creepy. I think one of the heads of the bone horde. Remember with those long necks of just mix matched vertebrae and a horrible skull with the red glowing, tiny little glowing eyes in the eye sockets of the skull. Actually, the archway, that nasty skull just kind of comes out and then turns and looks at Albrun. And that is like a disgusting thing to look at. Very scary. And it's like its teeth are like shattering. It's a horrible noise. And Cadigan also comes out. And the Bone Horde isn't able to completely leave. It still has those other warding rooms that are keeping it in, but it is able to get a head through. So just a horrible like Stegosaurus neck, the horrible skull at the end is just like looking out and staring at us. And Cadigan, he comes out there and he's like, "You." He looks at the missing area where the rune is. He looks at the Varu. He looks at the urn that's in Albrun's hand. He's like, well, well, well. What do we have here? Okay. Okay. What's our next move? We are surrounded. We have the Varu kind of right there on the natural ridge, the two Varu. We have this bone horde with one head sticking out of the archway, looking right at us, clicking its teeth. We have Cadigan. I think he also has his, you know how we describe him with his embroidered black silk robes. He has those skeletal adornments, the pauldron and the bracers. And I think also what he has is he has an athame that is also made out of bone. So it's like a ritual dagger, white as a sheet, made out of bone. And he has that in his hand. And I think he's actually walking towards us right now. Okay? So what is our next move? What is our next move? What is our next move? I want to say perhaps a compel? Perhaps a compel? Perhaps? Oh, you know what? I think so. I think a compel. I think the move here to make is a compel. We want to get Cadigan to call off all of these things, these Varu and the Bone Horde, and we just want to talk, okay? So I guess we will see how that goes with a compel. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay, so, oh my gosh, where's my compel? Where's my compel move? Oh, there we go. Okay. When you attempt to persuade someone to do something, envision your approach and roll. What do we want to do here? We're not lying or swindling, so I think plus shadow is out of the question. Threaten or I think this is just a plus heart. Charm, pacify, barter, or convince. We're trying to pacify and convince here. We want Cadigan to not be aggressive here, and we just want to talk peacefully. Okay, so that's going to be a compel plus heart, but also we do have our sighted asset. And we did take an upgrade. Remember, it failed when we tried to compel Matic, but the upgrade was when you compel, forge a bond, or test your bond with a fellow mystic or mystical being, add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. So we're going to add +1. Cadigan himself, it used to be a mystic. He's now a husk. Basically the same thing. Husk is just a more powerful version of a mystic. So we're going to take that +1 from our sighted asset, okay? So we're going to roll plus heart +1. So this is a +3 roll. Oh, I'm really hoping for a strong hit. So what we're saying here, let's go ahead and hop back into the fiction real quick. Albrun, he has the urn. He's holding off the Varu. He's very taken aback by that disgusting bone horde that's looking at him. and Cadigan is approaching with a drawn athame, looking like he might try something. And Albrun is going to say, I just want to talk. We need to discuss. The elves sent me, but I'm not with them. Oh, wait a minute. Is that a lie? Wait a minute. Ooh, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute before we roll. Let's lie. Let's lie. Wait a minute. Let's lie. Let's lie. Let's lie. I take it back. We're not rolling plus heart. We're going to tell Cadigan. We're going to say, yep, we're going to say, I just want to talk. The elves sent me, but I'm not with them. And there's a little bit of truth with that. We aren't an elf ourselves, and it's not like the elves hired us. They did send us here, but we're going to say we're not with them, okay? So, and that's like, we're kind of hinting that we have a little bit of information to give him, okay? That sounds like a lie, so we're going to actually roll plus shadow. We're going to utilize our trickster asset, so we're going to add a +1, and we're going to utilize our sighted asset because we're trying to compel a mystical being. So we're adding +2. So this is ooh, I like this. This is a +5 roll. Oh my gosh, let's do it. +5. Okay, that's a 2 on the action die. +5 is a 7 versus a 4 and a 9. A 4 and a 9. Okay, weak hit. What is that gonna do? Weak hit as above, but they ask something for you in return. Envision what they want. Okay, you know what? I'll take that. So we're gonna take okay, so this weak hit as above, but they ask something for you in return. So as above for the strong hits, they'll do what you want and share what they know. Take +1 momentum. If you use this exchange to gather information, make that move now. Add +1. And he's going to ask something for us in return. So we're going to go back up to 10 momentum, okay? We don't take that momentum from the sighted asset because we're already at max. So Cadigan, as soon as he hears elf, he's going to stop. Say, the elves sent you, and you're not with them. Well. Yes, let's discuss, okay? Okay. And I know what he's going to ask. And say, but before we do any of that, you have something of mine. And he's referring to the urn in Albrun's hand. He's going to say, I'm going to need that back. Ooh, I really didn't want to give up that urn. That was like our one trump card. Because, like I said, we are under a very well-founded assumption that this urn is the thing that is keeping Cadigan alive. And so I wanted to use it as a sort of trump card if we ended up in a fight or something, and we could just like smash the urn and Cadigan drops dead, I don't know. But we rolled a weak hit on compel. We are here to talk to him. We need to talk to him. I think we have to willingly give up this urn. I don't think there's any way for us to weasel out of this one. Okay, I think Albrun is going to have to take it in good faith, and he's going to walk up to Cadigan and tentatively hand the urn over. Cadigan is going to take the urn. The Varu, those two Varu guards are actually going to approach Cadigan. He's going to hand the urn back to the Varu, and they are going to scamper back off, probably to place the urn back where it's supposed to be. And then Cadigan is going to turn to Albrun, say, and he's going to look at Albrun. He's going to see Albrun's eyes and say, "You're Scold. Interesting." And Albrun's going to say, yes, I am of Scold descent, and I see you yourself are Scold. But you look very, very old. No offense. Cadigan's going to say, none taken. Okay, how do we proceed? I think Cadigan is going to try to lead them back into the chamber, but I think Albrun is going to say, he's more comfortable talking out here, because I don't think Albrun wants to be in the room with that bone horde, okay? And I think Cadigan is he's gonna put his athame back into its decorative sheath. And I guess he's gonna like cross his arms. And he's gonna say, explain yourself. Why are you in here? There hasn't been a living soul to come into this cavern in 200 years. I was the last one that walked in here alive. All the other ones, have been dead, thrown into the body pit and their bones have been used to create, that thing. Okay, so I think Albrun... Okay. Hold on. Before I continue, let me take a look at, the vow. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't we miss? Did we miss on anything? I can't remember. We got a weak hit with that face danger. No, we haven't missed. I only bring that up because I forgot we have that curse from the urn with the shriveled hands. And every time we make a miss, we are supposed to mark a box on that. We have 2 boxes so far. We haven't missed yet, so okay, I just need to keep that in mind. But okay, the vow that we are currently working on is deal with the elves that threaten Matic. Okay. I want to say that reaching the end of this delve site is significant progress. That's what the elves sent us here to do. So I'm going to go ahead and mark a box. So we already had 2 boxes, and this is a formidable vow. So now we have 3 boxes on this vow. Okay. Okay, so Cadigan says, explain yourself. And I think Albrun is going to say, the elves of Phythalor sent me down here to find you, and presumably get rid of you. The corruption that's coming from this cavern has managed to spread recently, to my knowledge, and they are quite scared. And Cadigan is going to nod. He's going to say, yes, I know. Something happened a few days ago. I don't know what. Something on the surface happened. And the wards that they were using to contain my influence failed. And my power has only been growing since. We know what that event was. It was the force wave from the Iron Pillar over in the Havens. Okay. And I think Albrun is actually going... You know what? I feel like Albrun is going to willingly offer up that information. He's going to say, yes, the event you speak of, the Iron Pillars that dot this land, one of them somewhat nearby, had a cataclysmic wave come, magic disruption, just spread out from it. It was quite devastating. I barely survived myself. And I think Cadigan is going to look at Albrun. You survived that. Interesting. Well, no matter. All that matters now is my time has finally come. The wards that they used to seal me in here will not be able to hold me any longer. And I have long awaited the day to free myself of this cave, and take my revenge on those knife ears. Not the derogatory term. Okay. And okay, so that's some information, I think. And okay, Cadigan is gonna then follow up and say, you say the elves sent you here, but you're not with them. Explain yourself. And Albrun is going to say, yes, I was pretty much forced to come down here. These elves, they have been bothering another man, also of Scold descent. His name is Matic. He's much older than I. Like you, he is marked. He's a very powerful mystic. And I need information from him. And so to get them to leave him alone, I came in his place. Okay, and I think Maddox's gonna say, What information? I think he's a little curious. And I think we're going to go ahead and gather some information here. And what this role is signifying is I'm curious to find out if perhaps Cadigan himself knows anything about the Iron Pillars. Remember, he's one of the first original Scold to come here to the Iron Lands. So I'm wondering if perhaps he has any information at all, if he's going to be helpful, or if he's going to even be willing to give up that information should he have it. Okay? So we're going to roll gather information, see what happens. So this is plus wits. Yeah. And we don't have any... I don't think we have any modifiers to add. So yeah, just plus wits. So that's a +2. 4 on the action die, +2 is 6, versus an 8 and a 4. Miss. On a miss, your investigation... Oh, yikes. On a miss, your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. Pay the price. Ooh, that was not worth it. Okay. So, Jesus. Okay. So Cadigan is going to say, what information? And Albrun is going to say, I wish to know more about these Iron Pillars. And I was hoping that Matic, as old and wise as they say he is, could perhaps help me with that. And Cadigan, I think, is just going to laugh. He's going to laugh. He's going to say, those pillars are older than these lands themselves. That old man won't have any information for you. And I think he's going to say, ooh, I think I know what the unwelcome truth that undermines the quest is going to be. He's going to say, those pillars break anything and anyone who dares to seek out their nature. Okay, so I want to make a note of that. That's not something that... There's no, like, mechanical pay the price here. I don't think. That's just something to keep in mind for the future. So I want to go ahead and jot that down, that apparently... You know what? Hold on. You know what? Albrun's not satisfied with that. He's going to press on, and he's going to say, what do you mean breaks anything and anyone? What are you talking about? Cadigan is then going to say, there are... Oh, I know. He's going to say, there was a people here before even myself. I myself was a part of the voyage of the first Ironlanders to arrive here, but we were not the first people, the first humans on this land. Go north if you want to see what it is I refer to. Okay, let me write that down. Okay, that is quite an unwelcome truth that undermines our background vow, but yeah, okay, we're gonna roll with that. And so Cadigan is now going to say, so you are here because the elves have threatened you. Disgusting things. Well, what is your next move, boy? Did you even think this through? What is it you came here? What is it that you came here to do? If you're not with the elves, why are you here? Okay, you've made it to me. What now? And I think Albrun is going to then say, I think perhaps we have a common enemy. And Cadigan is going to tilt his head at that. His black, soulless pit for eyes. He's looking at Albrun and going to say, oh. And I think Albrun is going to propose something that I think could benefit them both. Albrun is going to say, you seek revenge against the elves um, that have kept you here. I myself, I've been to Fythalor. I've spoken with their leadership, and I've heard their version of the history between you two. That the elves of old experimented on you. They wanted to learn more about Scold magic, and Cadigan's facial expression is going to go dark. He's going to relive a lot of those painful memories. And he's going to get kind of snappy and stuff, and he's going to say, yes, yes. They, to this day, they justify themselves, don't they? They think that they were in the right for what they did to me. Well, I'll have them all dead. I'll have them all dead before I leave this world. And I think Albrun's going to say, perhaps I can help you. You said earlier that the runes the elves placed here won't be able to hold you for much longer. Cadigan's can say yes. Their power wanes every day that passes. I've been preparing a nasty surprise for them, and he's going to be referring to inside that little cavern with that disgusting bone horde that's waiting. I think Alvin's going to say, well, what if I could perhaps speed that waning up? I was able to pass through these wards, and I wonder if there's anything I can do. And I think Cadigan is going to be agreeable to that. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit, and let's see what pieces we have on the table. The vow that we're working with is deal with the elves that threaten Matic. Okay, so I think what Albrun is thinking here is perhaps Cadigan is the solution to Fythalor. Cadigan clearly wants to murder all the elves. And Albrun's not a murderer. Like, I don't think Albrun's definitely not an elf hater, but like, he can't kill Cadigan. I mean, Cadigan is standing right here in front of him, but I don't even think Albrun has what it takes to like try to like assassinate Cadigan or anything like that. And I imagine, how would he even get out? Right, so it was kind of stupid of the elves, I feel like, to send us down here without, like, I mean, they couldn't send us any reinforcements. None of the elves could make it through the wards, so I guess it was their only option, but I guess that's going to come back to bite them. I think what Albrun is thinking here is release Cadigan and let him deal with the elves, and that frees up Matic. Okay, but I do want to think a little bit ahead, though. And I think Albrun is also going to be thinking ahead. If he releases Cadigan, there is now a, very vengeful, basically immortal husk that's out there in the deep wilds, wreaking havoc with a bone horde under his command. And who knows how many other undead creatures. He has those Varu. Who knows what else is down here that he has under his command, suddenly free to just roam the deep wilds. So, sounds like a great plan to me that will get rid of the elves. I can't imagine these elves will be able to stop a bone horde, but we have to make sure we're not creating a problem for ourselves in the future. And so I wonder if there is a contingency that we can somehow think about. You know what? Ooh, yikes. I think I know what the plan is. I think I do. I don't know if we'll be successful, but I think I know what the contingency is. Okay? Yeah, I think I do. Okay. So, Cadigan is going to be very agreeable to this proposal. It's like, yes, those wards weren't made for you. Even the wards I placed to keep the elves out weren't made for you either. You can cross the threshold. Tell me, you have no markings on your skin, I see. You clearly have not been trained. Do you know how to take wards down? Okay. And I think Albrun's gonna say, well, how hard can it be? And he's gonna point at the missing stone tablet that was on the archway that was keeping the bone hoarding. And he's gonna say, I took that one down. Okay, and I think Cadigan's gonna look between. He's gonna say, okay. Let's make a deal then. You remove the wards that are binding me, and I will see it to it that the elves of Fythalor are all gone. Okay. And I think Albrun is going to agree to those terms. So we don't have a contingency built in, but Albrun's already thinking about an idea. I guess I'll share that with you guys. I think what Albrun is thinking is, we got to get that urn back. We got to get that urn back because I have a feeling that if we can manage to get that urn back, whenever Cadigan is done with the elves, we will tell him to leave or whatever. And if he doesn't, we smash the urn and he dies. And I also have another contingency. Remember that warding rune that we have from the archway? If for some reason we can't get the urn back, I think we can probably do something with that warding rune to deal with the bone horde later, because it clearly works on the bone horde. So I think we have a solid plan moving forward. Okay. I love it. I love it, guys. I love it. Okay. I love it. So I love it. Okay. I think so. Let's just, yeah. Okay. I think that's where we are. We made it. Okay. I think that sets the stage for the next session quite nicely. So I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.